Hey y'all, Scriptum Critics. I'm here to review the 1962 film Lawrence of Arabia. Directed by David Lean, music by Maurice Jerry, starring Peter O'Toole, Omar Saraf, Alec Guinness, Anthony Quinn, and Jack Hawkins. Uh, this is a movie that is hailed by many people as one of the great films of all time. It's it's seen as from a historical film context as one of the greats, and just as cinematography and music. Now, we're talking about cinematography. You know, uh, there's so many amazing, great shots in the movie. It's hard to remember all of them. And one of the reasons why it's hard to remember all of them, because this movie is long. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes. Now I know that there was intermission back when this movie was released, but we don't have intermissions anymore, and when a movie's now made digital, you just watch it. Is at your pretty much your discretion if you're going to pause, or you need to go get food, or do whatever. I didn't watch this movie all in one day. I had to break it up. I feel like this is just me personally, or I might change my mind in the future, but I like the idea of a movie not crossing 3 hours. I think 3 hours is enough. um, you know but it's weird when we don't quite see that with television. There'll be a season of a show, it can go on for 15 hours, and we're whatever. But I think there's a different part of understanding the format. You could feel I watched the episode. Maybe they have cliffhangers, oops, what's going to happen, and you feel more comfortable with the pause and how they, how they structure the storytelling. But this movie is, historical, dramatic, movie. So it's about T.E. Lawrence, who was a real dude. Now I'm familiar that there are, plenty of historical, inaccuracies, and to be honest, that should be always be expected of, any historical movie that is not a straight up documentary. Because they had to make it appealing to make the go to the next scene, and there's a lot of times in life where you can specifically point out things where just as they're interesting to put on camera. And there's other moments where you're just living life. What happened this week? Oh, nothing. I just I wrote a few things. I ate. Hung out with my little brother, mother, whatever. There's gonna be a lot of that in human lifespan to pretty much anybody. But good enough is that in this movie, they spend a lot of time on his history when 1918, when he was in the campaign during World War II, and he was helping the sorry if I said this wrong, Bedouin Arabs to fight the Turks, because World War One is the point where the Ottoman Empire started to dissipate and just fall apart completely and become separate countries that the British had extreme heavy dictation on. So the movie actually opens up with Lawrence riding a motorcycle, but it's in the 30s, and we see his death. He has he crashes while he's in Britain and all that, which I I don't think we need it because, you know, whether or not that happened in real life, from a narrative perspective is irrelevant. It's all about how does it connect to the story. If we're just finding out how this dude died because he like messed up on a bike, and like his life is not about bikes, it's not about crashes, it's about like a military campaign where how he got interested in fighting for this group of people, then it just doesn't fit in this movie. As seeing it, some movies, if they're doing historical drama, like the movie ends and right before the credits start, like they have some text at the bottom that shows, well, this is what that dude did, and that's what that guy does, and sometimes they'll have the face, just kind of fade in, fade out for each character that affected. But they try to like set up like a joke, and I just think it was not funny, and that first like 5 minutes, personally, I don't think needs to be in this movie at all, especially since like there's a lot of shit in this movie. Like there are parts where I'm just like, you could have just left it out. Now that it's here, I do accept it. I'm not angry at it. I'm just like, it doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Whatever. It's all subjective. It's all about how we perceive film. Never just straight out antagonize people just because they have a different view than you. It's just film, man. It's just something we should enjoy. Now, Peter O'Toole's acting is pretty good. There are moments, especially towards the end, where we see him like go crazy and like during a fight, or when he freaks out, or when he has to play, dehydrated in the desert. Whenever he does those three things, it look, the way he captures it is amazing. Like that end scene where he's like freaking out at the like final battle, and you just see his face shaking. That was amazing. Omar Sharif, who plays Sheriff Ali, he was my favorite performance in the movie. Every time he was on screen, he like electrified, like the movie for me. He definitely felt like kind of like a weird, odd, genuine to me. He was very like odd character, but he you could tell that he was really into it. But the actor that was kind of awkward for me to watch was, oddly enough, Alec Guinness. Most known for like the movies I'm, sporting my shirt. The original Star Wars trilogy. But in this movie, he's supposed to be playing Arab Prince Faisal. Now, Alec Guinness has blue eyes, and he was white as all hell. And they just put like light brown like makeup on his face, put him on beard, and they put him in traditional Arab clothing. It's like, there you go. But this role, don't be wrong, Alec Guinness was a legend actor, but this role was not for him. And he doesn't, even though it's like a white dude like playing another race, that's not really quite the problem here. It's not like he's playing like a racist like vaudevillian like play on our people or Muslims. It's nothing like that. It's that when he speaks like himself. So you just got Alec Guinness' voice, which he can make anything sound cool, but he's not playing our prince. He's just Alec Guinness wearing, you know, our prince clothes, just barely skating by. Like, there's a few lines I'm like, okay, he does decent with that, but most of the time it's just him. So it's kind of disappointing, you know. Once I saw Alec Guinness, like, oh shit, you're in this movie. But yeah, you know. So, in the beginning, after we see his death, we go to the flashback. He's told by, like, you know, British officers, you gotta go over here, and he gets a Bedouin guide. Sharaf Ali kills him. The well. That was a pretty cool scene. You know, he speaks to Prince Faisal, you know, Alec Guinness's character. He says we need to take Aqaba. Sharaf Ali, Lawrence, and 50 other men, like, riding camels, cross the Nifa Desert, and like, while they're on their way, Lawrence meets these two teens, Dowd, Faraj. I'm sorry if I say these names wrong. And, like, first thing we see these two, like, obnoxious teens do is that they take, like, some cigarettes and they put it in, like, a camel's ass and, like, make them run, and, like, they just laugh. I'm pretty sure that's not how, you know, the cigarette company Camel got started. But that's all I was thinking, and I felt bad for that camel. You know, there's only so many times I feel bad for animals, and I just felt bad because camel didn't fucking deserve that shit. Lawrence goes back away from, you know, where the main group is. You know, they're trekking across the hot ass desert and shit, and he's going back to find this guy named Qasim. He returns with him, and, you know, like, Sheriff Ali was like, oh, just leave him. He's gonna die out in that, you know, hot ass desert. He said, no, I believe in him. He just, like, goes. He gets him back. He brings him to the city. He's like, what now, nigga? And they both, like, give him water, and, you know, Qasim is, like, alive and shit. And Sheriff Ali is like, okay, I see you. So they're like, you know what? You know, we'll make you, like, a honorary homie of one of ours. We're gonna give you some traditional Arab, you know, like, silk clothes, and they put him in it. And this fool Lawrence, he feels he's all types of fucking dapper. He's just, like, spinning around. He's thinking, like, he's just so beautiful, and he's just, like, going around the tee la la la, just while he's rocking this. They bump into one guy that, like, has a conflict between them because he says that they're stealing water, you know, from the well, you know, and he's, like, with his kid, and that was a pretty interesting dynamic. It only affects so much, but, you know, I did enjoy it. Lawrence tries to get, sorry if I say these names wrong, Adua Abu Tai to join his group. He's just, like, another, like, you know, small, like, ethno, you know, culture, tribe, and all that. You know, he was like, let's join the fight. We're gonna fight the Turks. You know, you can help us. But guy, you know, the guy he saved earlier, Qasim, ruins it for him. So Lawrence has a busted cap in his ass, and, you know, now Qasim is dead. It was interesting to see, like, how Lawrence, like, stops. You know, he loses a lot of, you know, like, his bearing and his humanity, because, you know, some people that he starts growing close with, he takes a step and he kills them. I'm going to get to another one shortly. But yeah, they lose one of the teens, Dowd. He dies in quicksand while they're trying to trek around the desert. Lawrence takes the other kid, Faraj. They go to the Brits, and the Brits are like, oh, why is he dressed like that? And, oh my, and it's like, what's he doing with that child? And he's like, nigga, give me some fucking lemonade. I'm fucking hot. I'm dry as shit. Give me some cold ass lemonade, goddammit. And they would like keep interrupting him. I'm like, motherfuckers, give him his lemonade. And we only see Faraj in this movie that takes so much time showing like details and like awkward silences. Uh, they can't show my boy getting that fucking lemonade that he asked for, and like actually getting it to his lips for more than a single second. Damn. Yeah, Lawrence launches a guerrilla war with, permission of the Brits and American publicists, like taking all camera pictures, finding out what he's doing with this military campaign, or as they would say, military campaign. Sheriff Ali and Lawrence go to Dara, which is like one of the Turk strongholds, and security like going around the city, and they look at Lawrence and they look back and like, what the fuck is this? And they get him and they're like, where are you from? It's just like, I'm like from this place, and like this, this ethnic minority, and it's just like, looks really white. We know he's not some fucking Brit. And, their suspicions was high enough that they start, like, flogging his ass with, like, a stick and shit. And eventually they stop and, they're like, you know what? He's, not worth it. So, Lawrence, easily gets away. He goes back to the Brits, and then he goes to fight with, the Bedouin uprising, and they attack some Turk trains, and they take all their shit. One dude is just like starts playing with a clock that's broken and shit. Then they have a giant Turk Bedouin battle, and it's brutal as all hell. And Lawrence yells out, "No prisoners! No prisoners!" And he starts going crazy, and he kills. At one point, he kills Faraj, which coming back to where his humanity is tested. Then he goes back with the Brits, and they make him a colonel, and then he just like rides off in the desert and shit, and like truck. So there's a lot of things that I think are like pretty brilliant, cinematography, music, obviously, it's hard to make, like film shots of like a desert look shitty, but they do great work with it. There are a few like lines that are pretty funny. One line that it just caught me off guard and I laughed. There's like this one dude that said that his mother mated with a scorpion, with like pretty straight face. Just like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, are you like, what? That has to hurt. But yeah, I think this movie is a little bit like overindulgent. Just like, we're so grand and we are so amazing. Look at all these great shots, and shut the fuck up. We don't care how long we are. That's how we indulge. And, maybe I can indulge myself because I am a true film critic that has talked about one of the great films that's in the Library of Congress. One of the greats, the one that's so revered. But when it comes just down to it, some of the things that I love and some of the things that I'm just like, oh, whatever, I can see what they're doing, but it doesn't really grab me. There's only so much about this movie that really grabs me. I love the scene where that kid goes into quicksand. Main character going get Gassim. Some of the battles and his struggle, and overall I would give this movie a B plus. But am I rushing to watch it again? No. no, it is long, and that's one of the things that really hurts it for me. So, but I'm not gonna argue with anyone if they say this movie's great. You know, that's them. You know, tell me what y'all think. That's why the critics. You know, damn it, y'all know I love you. How the fuck? Jesus. As part of the critics, yeah. As part of the Krypton critics, you know I love you.